Hi, good morning. Day 91 of our 99 days. Today it's going to be a very, very direct and straightforward message. So brace yourself. It feels almost like the gloves are off, and because I truly, truly, truly want you to get out of any struggle you're still in. Because you keep repeating the same cycle again and again if you don't get this message. And it's a tough one to get. Um, So the truth behind every struggle is that you desire exactly, that you get in your life what you exactly desire. That's just the simple truth of our laws of nature and the laws of attraction I have shared about before. And there's no other excuse than to look at your life and find where you still struggle and find a reason underneath that why you're still struggling there. Apparently, you still desire that situation. Apparently, there's still a benefit in that situation. If you have mediocre relationships, you still love them. If you have a poor financial situation right now, you still like to be there. If you have a poor health, you still benefit from that. If you want to stop smoking and you can't do it because it's so hard, you still haven't done it for the right reason. You still love actually that you smoke. And so I can go on and on and on because there's always an and if you tried so many things, you probably will say, "But I've tried it. I've tried it so many times. It's not working. I've followed every instruction. I've followed everything, and still not working. I'm trying to set up a new business and still not flowing." Well, then you've looked in the wrong way. Then you've tried with your mind, and there's not a true intention that comes from a deeper unconsciousness within you, a deeper layer within you. That's what I call the heart desire. There's really, really wanting to change something because you're so sick of it. You just want to change it. That's where it's coming from. This deep down things that whatever it takes, whatever fear I have to face, whatever long path I have to face when it comes to healing myself, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. It needs this intense desire to change. And it comes from a deep spot. And sometimes we really have to get so sick, and then it's time to to change. That's why they often call that the suffering. The suffering needs to be so hard, so intense, otherwise people don't change. And what always surprises me that people actually can do anything they want. They can conquer any disease they have if they want it. There's so many examples of people who have um, regained their health. I have it in my family even, um, from being practically paralyzed to running again. I mean, there couldn't be a greater step in healing. And there's so many. So there's never. Um, it's not about hiding behind an excuse. That's not helping you, because it serves you. It really serves you in whatever situation you are. If you are in a relationship that feels uninspiring, is not having the depth of love and connection you are looking for, then why stay in the relationship? Or why not change the relationship by opening up to your partner and see if there is depth there? See if you can meet each other at a deeper level. Don't fear the talk. Don't fear the conversation. And if it's not worth it, then the struggle is not tough enough. Then the pain is not tough enough. But don't complain then. Be okay with it. Don't even think about it anymore. You're okay with a mediocre relationship for you. That's okay. Fine as well. You don't have to change. This session is about where you feel a struggle. Where you feel a struggle and the cycle is repeating itself again and again, and you don't get out of that cycle. If you don't get out of the cycle, and you do want to get out of the cycle, then you have to look at your struggle in a deeper way. What are you not facing here? And it's always is some kind of a fear in the end. It's a fear of not stepping into your power. It's a fear of not matter enough and not um, asking enough for your time. It's not stepping up for yourself. For instance, with family relationships, you might not step up for yourself. But you're still playing small. So it's always about true empowerment for yourself, true love for yourself, to really want to change something. And we often like to look at other people who are having it better than us, like the grass is greener at the neighbors, as they say in Dutch. And it's so then you try actually to copy things. Then you try to compare yourself. And that's actually the same thing about jealousy. You're comparing yourself with others. And I've been going through this the last 9 months, deeply, deeply in the theme of jealousy. And I finally found out it's not about comparing, it's about not seeing myself. It's not honestly seeing myself at that deep level where I want to see myself. And I projected it by the other needing to see me. But in the end, it's never about the other. It's always about yourself. It's in that sense, it's a lonely life. It's always about yourself because you're the only one who can do something. However your circumstances, there's always something to change there for yourself to feel different about the same situation, to act differently. But there needs to be this deep, deep inner drive, which I cannot learn, which I cannot teach, which I cannot tell you where it is. But you can feel it. You can open up to it. Um, you will open up to it as soon as you are saying yes to your fears. And that's what they call then what happens when you say yes to your fears, when you're really like, okay, I'm so sick and tired of this, I really want to change. Then it most of the time you have to go through pains. You have to go fear is a pain that's not being felt. You have to feel that pain first. So it's not easy walk in the park for most of us. Well, it's not like a sudden change. So you have to go through something because you have held it back for whatever reason for so long. It really is a pain there. So then you get through these dark nights of the soul, as they say it, and it feels so deep and dark that there's no other way out than just reaching for the light and completely surrender. So, so if there is an area in your life where you feel you have a struggle, and there's none of you in this group, including myself, who doesn't have a struggle in his life. None of you. And that includes me. And I'm facing my struggles one at a time, and I've shared many, many of them, or two at a time, or sometimes three at a time, but I'm just facing them. And it's not all done yet. I'm still getting slapped in the face now and then. But as long as I feel it's a struggle for me, I can't sit with it and just be okay with it. It just doesn't work like that. Or then be okay with it that it's not a struggle. Well, it is a struggle, but you don't want to face it right now. But then be okay, completely okay with it. But I bet you it's not a real struggle then. Then you're still ignoring something. Then you still don't feel really the pain. And you're just getting into the zone of being indifferent to your own pain because you don't feel it then. So if you have sentences coming up like, but I've worked so hard on this and it's not working, I'm sorry, then you haven't worked in the right way. Then you haven't felt the real desire to change it. Then you are still finding excuses for yourself because the situation you're in, you still feel a benefit there. And these benefits can show up in many different ways. I've had, when I was young, I've had 1 or 2 years of intense headaches. And I had such a fear in my social environment. So I just used that headache as an excuse not to get out there. So every time there was a social event or something at school or whatever it was, and I felt this fear coming up, then I just told myself I had a headache, and I had a headache, of course, or I used the headache as an excuse, or I was tired, or and then after this period of headaches, it finally got better, changing schools. Then I turned out to having pain in my stomach deeply. Being in a relationship, I felt very uncomfortable with actually, but I was too afraid, and it was again a social situation I was very uncomfortable with. So then I was in bed with feeling pain in my stomach because I wasn't facing my fears, and that excuse was amazing. I didn't have to get up. No, I had pain in my stomach. It's just avoiding life. It really is avoiding life. And it creates chronic pains. It creates chronic situations in your life where you just simply feel stuck with that. And I know this is an extreme hard message for many of you. But the other side of this is that you are actually, if you don't want to change that, even if it seems unchangeable to you in this moment, or because people have said it's unchangeable, then you're actually saying to yourself, well, I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with that. And are you? Are you really okay with that? If you can honestly say to yourself, I'm okay with this, I'm happy with this, that this is the situation in my life, and I'm happy dying like this, then it's okay. But if it comes up every now and then and it feels as something happy and something unhappy, then find deep within, and it goes deep. It goes in deep layers. It's not just I'm having a fear of something. It's for everybody a personal message, of course. I cannot know what your personal message is. I don't know your fears. I don't know your deep fears. And it takes time to get through those deep layers. It really takes time. So it's not like happening overnight. You just open up to your fears and then you're released. But not opening up and being okay with the struggle, that's also a conscious choice. You have to say a full yes or no to that. And if it's a no, then there's work to do. And if it's a yes, then don't ever spend one thought on it. Because then it was really what you desire and you get what you desire. That's okay. That's great. And it's the same with the situation about manifesting something in your life that you don't have yet. Why don't you have it? I know why I don't have a brilliant, successful coaching online or whatever I'm calling this way of coaching or teaching yet, because I'm facing my fears now every day actually, just to, I mean, it might sound as little fears, but every time it's like, okay, now I have to do this. Ooh, taking a deep breath again and then stepping up for myself and doing it and feeling actually why it's uncomfortable. But I can copy others in being successful, but it will never be my success if I don't really want to be successful in this. And then success here is defined for me as helping others. Um, so I'm really, you know how I am in these things. It's just, I really felt this morning when I woke up this deep admiration for each and every one of you to open up to this to these sharings for so many days already. Really deep admiration. At the same time, I also felt like this deep desire within me to give you whatever push is needed to to liberate you from whatever struggle you have, because that's what we're talking about. It's about the liberation, which is on the other side of the struggle. It's pure liberation. I mean, even just try to imagine that you are free from what you're struggling with and that you have this amazing job you actually like to have and that you go to work every day being very energized and love to share yourself with others because you're so naturally talented in it. How would that feel? Wouldn't that feel amazing? Wouldn't you love to live like that? So, what's needed to do that? What's needed to take that step? Or if you're in a relationship, like some of you shared yesterday, and you're not with me personally, and you're not sure whether you are in the right one, then find out with your partner. Find really out. Just go for the deep questions. Don't ignore them. Don't avoid them. Go for the deep questions because we all have fears, and we have to help each other to open up to fears as well. So it's not always the you don't always have to walk away or to give up something to get something new. You don't always have to change by leaving something behind. You can it's way more worthwhile to change within that you're struggling in because that's actually where your lessons are learned. So if you are in a relationship that doesn't feel perfectly right now or not feeling aligned or deeply connected, but you're not sure either because otherwise you would have already left it, then what is your fear underneath that? Is it a fear of being alone? Yes, then you should leave the relationship. Then it's purely dishonest relationship. Dishonest to the others as the other person as well. But if you feel there is a deep connection somewhere, or there could be a deep connection, then find out, explore it. Because if we cannot connect to ourselves deeply, how can we connect to someone else deeply? So, the truth in every struggle is that you have to dig deeper. And you haven't felt sick and tired enough of it. Because if you do, you will heal. And then I mean healing in this broadest sense, not only related to health. I mean it in healing any in any way. We talked already about this process of releasing um, lack beliefs. Actually, that's what it is. You're healing your lack beliefs. So why do you still desire your situation? Why is it still there? Whether you don't like, and you still don't like it. Actually, why is it still there then? If the things in your life you don't like, you honestly don't like, why is it still there? What's the benefit there? Look for the benefit. And most of the time, the benefit is defined as something like I can hide behind it, or it gives me safety, or um, it gives me an excuse to ignore things, or it gives me an excuse not to step up for myself, or it gives me an excuse to complain. Sometimes it just gives an excuse to complain and to feel sorry for yourself. And we've all have this. So don't feel attacked here because it's pardon in each and every one of us. That's what we're trying to find out in this life. That's the play of life actually. That's the it's almost a game we're playing here. If you're ready for it, of course. And if you're not ready for it, then you just stay in the struggle or you just go indifferent. You just go into a numb situation, more like flatline, and you're okay with the motions of life. But please, not after 19 days. Please go deeper, deeper within. And it's honestly really useless for me to say this because I cannot push this button within you. I cannot. I can only um, shake up things a little by sharing this from a very deep compassion. But it's still up to you. And if you struggle in family matters, then open up in whatever way is needed. But the family is actually the safe place to do it. It really is. Even though it doesn't feel that safe for most of us. And honestly, it's no, I mean, you don't have to deal with everything at once. You can take one at a time. But in the end, it's all about um, a balance in your life. It's about getting into going from a roller coaster through ups and downs, like life might feel right now to you. Like you're feeling really like in the high and happy, and then you pull down again into the lows. Like I shared about yesterday, how to stay longer in the happy feeling. But we actually want to move towards a spiral, an upward spiral. So that means actually you are moving through life, going upward, 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 raising your frequency again and again more effortlessly. And then because the spiral is actually not it's like a balance on all aspects of your life. You cannot have a spiral and then have one area in your life where it's in complete disbalance. Then the spiral doesn't function because the spiral is just one movement. Whereas in a roller coaster, you can go up and down. So you can have that down because one area in your life might be disbalanced. So whoops, there you go down as soon as you touch upon that, or as soon as life reflects that back to you again, or as soon as the mind is still remembering you of your struggle and your sad situation and your poor health and your whatever it is your struggle or your endless struggle with relationships, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. But as soon as so you are okay, you're in neutral or you're in a happy state, and then bam, life pulls you down again. And we don't want to. We want to get out of this roller coaster. So stepping on this journey most of the times start with looking into deeply into one area, but eventually you have to look at all areas in your life. And the areas are mainly like health, relationships, intimate relationships, or relationships like friendships, and how you relate to others in general. And then you have your intimate relationship with your partner, your family, and something like fulfillment. Let's call it a job, but it can also be whatever fulfills you in life that you really share yourself. And these areas all needs to be, and then you have this financial area because it's kind of related to other areas, but it's kind of a important topic still in our paradigm, the financial balance. Um, but to me, that's directly related to how you fulfill your life. So all these areas eventually have to be balanced to get out of the roller coaster and step into the spiral, the upward spiral. Okay, well, I think this is enough for today, enough to get angry about. I hope you'll get angry, really get angry with me sharing this message because it's really unfair. Me telling an easy story here and you struggling with it so deeply. That might feel really unfair. Or if that's what it takes to get you really sick and tired of it, then I've done the right job today. If you notice yourself going complete ignorance or denial, or then you're the stage before being very angry. That's okay too. And if you would like to share your anger with me, that's okay. Just share it. Send me a message. How unfair it is. Listen again to the session of anger. And it might be necessary to step into your deep anger because it really is unfair. And you need anger to get out of this deep release of emotions to step into the next stage and to open up to your fears. You might need, if it really is like a long struggle, a repetitive cycle for many, many years, you might need this, you probably need this anger to shift, to get really, really angry. Okay, that's it for now, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye.